You're lying in bed, and a conversation from 8 hours ago starts playing in your mind. Not the whole conversation, just the one sentence you said. You start wondering if it sounded weird, if they noticed, if they're thinking about it right now, judging you for it. Or maybe you're staring at a text message. You've typed and deleted a response 3 times. You're not just thinking about what to say. You're thinking about how they'll feel when they read it, how they'll feel about you, what it might mean for the relationship tomorrow or next week. If you've ever noticed that your mind feels less like a tool you use and more like a radio you can't turn off, you might be an overthinker. But here's the quiet truth about it. Overthinking isn't really about being too smart for your own good. It's not a quirk, and it's not a character flaw. It's actually a very specific kind of protection. A shield you built, probably before you even realized you needed one. Let's look at what overthinking actually looks like in real life. It's not just sitting in a chair thinking deep thoughts. It's the micro behaviors. It's walking into a social situation and immediately analyzing the room. Who is standing with who looks upset, who you should avoid. It's replaying a conversation to check if you accidentally offended someone. It's preparing for a meeting by imagining every possible question they might ask you, so you have an answer ready before they even speak. On the surface, this looks like preparation or caution, and sometimes it is. But the psychological driver underneath isn't a desire to be prepared. It's a need to be safe. When you grow up in an environment that feels unpredictable, where a parent's mood could change without warning, where you felt responsible for keeping the peace, or where love felt conditional, your nervous system learns that safety requires vigilance. You learn that if you can just predict what's coming, you won't get hurt. If you can just figure out what they're thinking, you can adjust yourself to keep them happy. Overthinking becomes a survival strategy. It's the mind trying to control the uncontrollable. You're not just thinking, you're scanning for threats. That feeling of anxiety when you don't have an answer, that's the trigger. Overthinking is the attempt to relieve that anxiety by gaining certainty. You think, if I can just figure out why they looked at me that way, I'll know if I'm safe. Or, if I can plan for every potential failure, I'll be in control. This is why you can't just stop thinking about it. Because on a deeper level, your brain believes that thinking is the only thing keeping you safe. To stop thinking feels like letting go of the wheel while driving blind. It's also why you might find yourself overthinking things that don't logically matter. A small typo in an email, a stranger's facial expression. It's not the content that matters. It's the uncertainty the content creates.
Almost there.
For someone who grew up in an emotionally sensitive environment, uncertainty feels like danger. It feels like the moment before the floor drops out. So your mind works overtime to build a floor out of thoughts. Even if those thoughts are painful, even if they keep you up at night, at least they give you the feeling of doing something. And here's where it gets interesting. We often look at overthinkers and assume they lack confidence. We think, if they just believed in themselves more, they wouldn't worry so much about what others think. But the real reason isn't what most people think. It's not about self-esteem. It's about control. If you overthink, you're not necessarily worried that you're not good enough. You're worried that you can't predict the outcome. Confidence is about trusting yourself to handle whatever happens. Overthinking is about trying to control whatever happens so you don't have to handle it. It's a subtle but massive difference. The person who doesn't speak up in a meeting isn't just quiet. They're trying to control how they are perceived. If you don't speak, you can't say the wrong thing. It kept you safe when things felt unstable. It helped you navigate personalities that were unpredictable. It made you hyper-aware, and that awareness was your armor. But here is the quiet cost of that shield. When you are constantly in your head, analyzing, predicting, and preparing, you aren't actually in your life. You're watching it from a distance. You might be physically present in a conversation, but part of you is always outside of it, monitoring it for safety. You miss the spontaneous joy because you're too busy scanning for potential threats. You hesitate to fully trust someone because your mind is already preparing for the moment they might leave. The overthinker often feels heavy, not because life is objectively harder, but because they are carrying the weight of 1,000 possible futures. They are living through every scenario in their mind, exhausting themselves before anything even happens. The pattern was built to protect you from
I
pain,
can't keep running
but
from
it
this.
often ends up keeping you
It's
from
time to
peace.
face it.
So if this is you, here's what's important to understand. It was never random. It was never just the way you are. It was a pattern, a strategy your mind learned to keep you safe in a world that felt unpredictable. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start to notice the moment you begin to spiral. You might catch yourself thinking, there it is. My mind is trying to control something again. You might realize that the need to figure it out right now is just an old echo from a time when you needed certainty to survive. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to stop it. You just have to recognize it for what it is. And that awareness alone changes how you move. Because for the first time, instead of being lost in the thought, you are the one watching it. If this explains something for you, there's more to uncover. Understanding yourself is the beginning of everything.